Thank you, Minister. Senator Waters.
Thanks very much, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Social Services, Senator Scott Ryan. Rape and Domestic Violence Services Australia, or RDVSA, is a woman-led, internationally renowned specialist service with decades of experience. This crucial frontline service currently delivers the 1800RESPECT hotline for victims of DV and sexual assault, but they're at risk of losing their funding under a tender by Medibank Health Solutions, or MHS, a highly profitable private company. Can you right now rule out any funding cut for RDVSA, and will the government step in if MHS does not award the sub-tender to RDVSA?
The Special Minister of State representing the Minister for Social Services, Senator Ryan.
Thank you, Mr President. MHS, the current provider of 1800RESPECT, has commenced the tender process, as Senator Waters outlined, for the trauma specialist counselling component of the service. MHS is responsible for this subcontracting arrangement under its contract with the department to deliver 1800RESPECT. MHS has included a sector expert with a background in domestic and family violence helpline services and an independent probity officer on the evaluation panel. In late May this year, MHS advised the department that it had agreed to an extension to the current contract with Rape and Domestic Violence Services Australia till the end of October this year. This will ensure that all callers continue to have access to trauma specialist counselling while MHS conducts negotiations in good faith to finalise the outcome of the tender. I do not actually have a direct answer to the question you asked. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I'm not in a position to rule in or out a matter outside my direct portfolio, but I'll seek further information and come back to the Senate.
Thank you, Minister. Supplementary question, Senator Waters.
Yes, thanks, President. I do appreciate you taking that on notice. I'm looking very much forward to your response. There's been reports of a spike in complaints about 1800RESPECT due to flaws in the new triage model implemented by MHS with the government's approval. Will you now commit to ensuring that there is an independent investigation of these complaints?
Minister.
Well, Mr President, I do have some data on performance of the 1800RESPECT line. Most recent figures show that since the introduction of the first response triage model in mid-August last year, 73% of calls have been answered within 20 seconds. Data from MHS from mid-August till the end of March this year shows that approximately 30% of callers require intensive support provided by trauma specialist counsellors. MHS data on call outcomes shows that of the remaining callers, 38.1% received information, 34% of callers received initial trauma-informed counselling and education, 19% received information about provider options. The remaining callers were referred, or there's some other smaller categories, time will preclude me from going through. The remaining callers were referred to R&D VSA or were provided with another warm referral. MHS
order,
has
Minister. Point of order, Senator Waters.
Yeah, point of order, Mr President. I appreciate the Minister reading out those figures. I have those. I'm interested in whether or not there's going to be an independent investigation into the complaints about the triage model. And if you don't have that information to hand, if you can please take that on notice and provide it as a matter of urgency.
Thank you, Senator Waters. Minister.
On the point of order, I mean, the question referred to the performance, and I thought it was directly relevant to the Senate to provide some of the performance data for that service provider.
Yeah, thank you, Minister. The question, there was only one question, was will you commit to an investigation? And so Senator Waters is technically correct. You have been exceptionally helpful, I must say, with your answer. Minister, you have 10 seconds and wish to respond.
As I said previously, I'm not in a position, it not being my direct responsibility, to rule that matter in or out, Senator Waters. If I'm in a position to provide further information to the Senate, I'll do so.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Waters, final supplementary question.
Thanks, President. MHS has announced that they've projected a doubling of profits from their health call centre services, including 1800RESPECT. Why does the government believe that it's acceptable that private companies can profit from domestic violence and sexual assault services?
Minister.
Well, quite frankly, Mr President, I don't think it is fair nor reasonable to try and load a question about the role of profit-making enterprises in the health sector in such a way. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't see an issue, Senator Waters, with people making a profit providing a service, because everywhere else in our community, across our economy, that has proven to drive improvements in service. There is no problem whatsoever with someone making a profit out of a health service. I don't think it's appropriate nor reasonable to load the question. I know the Greens don't like profit-making in health. I know they don't like profit-making in a whole range of the economy. Indeed, the Greens have done their best to destroy profit-making right across the economy. But, Mr President, the government does not have a problem with profit-making enterprises fulfilling the terms of contracts as long as they do what they commit to in those contracts.